Alright YouTube, so we are back with some video games, and today we have something quite interesting. We've talked a lot on the main channel over the years, at this point, about the possibility of a Fallout New Vegas 2. We've talked about all kinds of different speculations and rumors and things like that. In more recent years, of course, we had Microsoft acquiring Obsidian, and then super recently, Microsoft acquiring Bethesda. And we did a video even then talking about the possibility of maybe now, finally, that they're both under the same roof, technically working together under Microsoft. The possibility of a Fallout New Vegas 2. Well, based on some information and a quote we got from Jeff Grubb recently, who's a pretty reputable insider, it seems like this might actually be finally in the works, or at least in their talks about it. They're talking about it, they're thinking about it behind the scenes. We're just going to read over this Video Games Chronicle article really quickly. It says, a sequel to Fallout New Vegas is in very early talks at Microsoft, according to a journalist. Speaking on his premium Giant Bomb show, Grubb Snacks, paywalled, transcribed by VGC, VentureBeat's Jeff Grubb claimed that original developer Obsidian could create a sequel to the classic RPG, now that it's under the same roof as license holder Bethesda. This is very early, but people have begun to have talks and say these words in sentences, and these words are Obsidian and New Vegas 2, Grubb said. We're talking years and years away. There's at least an interest and conversations happening about making something like that actually a reality. Finally, Grubb added, a lot of people at Microsoft think that this could work, and there's a lot of interest to make it happen. So again, there's not currently a Fallout New Vegas 2 in the works, or an Obsidian Fallout currently in the works, but it's being thought about, it's being discussed. Microsoft themselves, who acquired ZeniMax, thinks it's a good idea. So the odds are pretty likely that it's going to happen, since they own Bethesda. I mean, more than ever before now, it is a possibility, since it's being, supposedly talked about in the background. It's kind of funny, too, that it's not even a year since, Microsoft acquired ZeniMax, and within under a year, they're already like, let's go ahead and let's get Obsidian making Fallouts, because Bethesda, it's not been great. The thing is, too, they have to make their money back, right? They invested $7.5 billion to acquire ZeniMax, and Bethesda's games, they're not necessarily bad, but they don't always do crazy numbers, right? Except for the Fallout and Elder Scrolls series. Specifically Fallout 4, the game that you're playing in the background, day one. When this game launched back in 2015, November whatever 2015, it sold 12 million copies on the first day. That is absolutely astronomical numbers, my dudes. Very few games do that. The first one that comes to mind is GTA 5. That was the big thing when that game launched in 2013, that it made $1 billion within the first 24 hours. That is, very few games do that, man. Some games, plenty of games hit the 10 million mark over time. We're talking the first day. The game is not even barely a day old, and they made almost $1 billion off the fucker. So presumably in the future, with a Fallout 5 or a Fallout New Vegas 2 or just another Obsidian of Fallout, if they can do something like what Fallout 4 did upon launch, they'll make their money back pretty quickly. And also with Elder Scrolls and stuff like that. But there's also rumors or discussions about Starfield, Elder Scrolls, Fallout potentially being Xbox exclusives. Maybe they'll still be on the PC market or something, but they're not going to have that PlayStation audience, and that might affect, obviously the sales that they're going to make upon launch. But, I've been a huge advocate in the past about, even though they were acquiring Bethesda, that those games should not be exclusives. I know the theory behind it is if you can only play it on Xbox, you're going to have to buy an Xbox, and that should make them a lot more money, but PlayStation has a bigger audience, dude. PS4 sold 100+ million consoles, and last I looked, Xbox One had 40 million consoles or some shit. The PlayStation audience is literally more than double the Xbox audience, so it doesn't make sense to take your games away from there. It's just, you're leaving a fucking insane amount of money on the table. It's fucking stupid if they do that. And while I think the console war stuff is so tired and old and boring at this point, if that is still a thing behind the scenes, even though they try to act like it's not, what better way to stick it to your competition than to sell your games on the platform? Microsoft owns Bethesda games, sell Bethesda games on PlayStation. That just makes sense to me. Now, putting that shit aside, obviously Microsoft is a $1 trillion company for a reason. They know what they're doing, and they probably looked at the fan base for Bethesda for the Fallout series. The fans have been demanding another Obsidian Fallout, or a Fallout New Vegas 2. I don't know if that's actually likely, but another Obsidian Fallout regardless. And within a year, again, of them acquiring Bethesda, they're yeah, let's go ahead and get them making a game now. Why I say it's not likely is because New Vegas itself is a specific location, right? The city of New Vegas, the area surrounding the city of New Vegas. So I don't know if they would actually do a New Vegas 2. That's just kind of what everybody always calls it. They'd probably do something, according to Fergus Urquhart, they'd do something West Coast still. They'd stick to the West Coast, but Bethesda sticks to the East Coast. Makes a lot of sense. This is a quote that goes back almost 10 years now, and Fergus Urquhart is still, the head of Obsidian, even now. So I'm sure his quote still stands, and I'm sure, we've known they've expressed interest over the years, in tweets and stuff, replying to people on Twitter and shit, that they would be down to make another Fallout. And it might just happen, my dudes. But my dudes, that's going to be pretty much the video. So more than ever, again, we've talked about this quite a bit over the years, but more than ever currently right now, it's more of a possibility than it's ever been that Obsidian Entertainment the original creators, part of Black Isle and shit back in the day, of the Fallout series could maybe get back to making Fallout again. Well, I've said plenty of times in the past that Fallout 3 is my personal favorite Fallout, and that still does stand. I've learned to respect New Vegas over the years. It's not that I dislike the game, I just like Fallout 3 more. I've learned to respect the attention to detail that Obsidian put into it when I've learned more about Fallout 1 and Fallout 2 and see all the different connections and stuff like that. Like, if you're getting another Obsidian Fallout game, you're going to get a lot of like deep cuts, deep lore connections back to Fallout 1 and 2 that Bethesda probably wouldn't be able to do, right? Because they're not the original creators. My dudes, that's going to be the video. Social networks are in the description below. Follow me on Twitter, @DavidYT. That's it. Bye.
Till it comes to conclusions, all the things that we thought we were losing. I'm a ghost and you know this. That's why we broke up in the first place. 'Cause I want you.